I've hypnotized literally millions of people, and I get asked some common questions all the time. Like, how do you lose weight? How do you make more money? How do you get over your anxiety? How do you quit vaping? How do you scale your business? How do you be more confident? How do you find more self-love and self-worth? And I can tell you there's one simple trick to achieving anything you want, any brand of success you have. You can use this to help you achieve it. Here's the thing. The formula for success is simple. It's information times action gets you whatever result you want. Whatever your brand of success is, whether it's losing weight, finding a loving relationship, feeling more confident, making more money, this is the equation. Information times action. And chances are you already know the information. You've read the books, you've watched the YouTube videos, you've bought the courses, you listen to the podcast, but you're still not as successful as you want to be, or potentially you're worse off than when you started because you keep taking one step forward and 3 steps back. Why is that? It's because it's not just about the information, and it's not just about taking action. It's about taking the right inspired action that's aligned with the goals that you set for yourself. But you're not going to take the action that's aligned with your goals if you don't have the mindset that's aligned with that goal. And therein lies the secret to true success, personal freedom, personal power, and self-worth and self-love. It's by doing the deep inner work first. When you actually change what's happening at a neurological level, you change all those subconscious programs that are running below the threshold of conscious awareness, that's when success becomes easy. Now, you don't have to take my word for it, but the proof's in the pudding because I've done this myself. Lost almost 100 pounds in 6 months. I became a millionaire by the time I was 32, bought my brand new G-Wagon last year. I've gotten a t-shirt. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying it because I've done it and I've helped literally millions of people accomplish similar results all across the world by using these processes, these philosophies, and these frameworks. And I want to share with you today the exact framework that I used and that I share with super achievers from all around the world to help them achieve their own goals. So we've already talked about the formula for success. It's information times action. And the reason you're not as successful as you want to be and it's not happening as quickly as you want it to happen is because you already have the information, yet you're not taking the action as quickly as you should be taking it or as effectively as you should be taking it. You're doing the things that you tell yourself not to do, and you're not doing the things that you tell yourself to do. So if the question becomes, how do I actually start taking action faster that's aligned with the goals that I set for myself? Well, there's actually a very simple answer to that. And that's, once again, by aligning the subconscious programming in a way that you just wake up in the morning and you start doing the shit you tell yourself to do. Now, how do you align your subconscious programming with your goals, with your desires, your hopes, your dreams? I found that the fastest way is by using hypnosis. Now, I don't want to get too bogged down in the neuroscience of it just yet, but know that we're not talking about some woo-woo manifestation stuff. We're talking about practical goal setting and goal achieving in a way that leverages your neurochemical responses, your neurochemistry, your neurological pathways in a way that kind of absolves willpower from the equation. You don't need to muster up more courage or more discipline or more willpower to do the things you tell yourself to do because you already have evidence that that's not the case. Right? You have all these bad habits. You do the things that you tell yourself not to do, and you don't need willpower to do it. You don't need willpower to eat the second piece of cake. You don't need willpower to sleep in or skip the gym. So if you don't need willpower for that stuff, then why do you think you need willpower for the good things, the good habits, the good action? You don't. And so how do you actually bypass that willpower factor that doesn't exist? Well, you program your mind in a way that's going to navigate you automatically towards your goals by producing and manifesting thoughts, feelings, and actions that are aligned with those goals. Once again, whether it's weight loss, whether it's making more money, whether it's feeling good about yourself and more confident, all of that happens when you manipulate, for lack of a better word, your neurochemistry at a brain-based level so that these kind of pathways that are happening all throughout your body and specifically in your brain fire off in a way that's simply congruent with the goal that you've set. Your brain is kind of like a heat-seeking missile. When you give it the right destination, you program it in the right way, you're just going to take off towards that destination automatically. So I mentioned hypnosis a moment ago, and the reason why I find hypnosis to be so effective is because it creates the fastest change at a neurological level. But the question is, how does it actually do that? It's not just like thinking positively, because I mean, if that were the case, books like Think and Grow Rich would just make everybody rich by reading the book and thinking rich. But that clearly doesn't work like that. You have to actually ingrain your mind with the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of someone who's successful or of the person who's already achieved the goal that you want to achieve. So really, if you kind of look at a 30,000 foot view here, you have to become the type of person who would do the types of things necessary to have the types of things that you want to have. It's an identity game. It's a mindset game. Now that may sound a little cliche, but when you think about mindset is simply a set of mental programs. Your mental programs, that packaging, makes up you. And you are always going to be the evidence of what you experience in the 3D physical world around you. Your bank account is a reflection of you. Your body, reflection of you. Your relationships, a reflection of you. Now that might trigger you a little bit, but it should give you ownership. It should prompt you to take extreme responsibility of your life and to actually choose to take back control. Because here's the real magic behind all of it, is that you have a power within. You have the ability to create. You have the ability to control your life and your circumstances, and it's much stronger than you've probably given yourself credit for. Now, I tend to go on like these endless streams of consciousness, but stay with me and actually let's recap for a second. So if you want to achieve your goals faster, you have to align you with the goal. You have to align your subconscious programs, your beliefs, your fears, your habits, your emotional patterns. All of those things have to actually synchronize with the end result that you want. And how do you do that? You do that by using hypnosis. Now, let's now talk about how hypnosis works and why it works so well. What hypnosis allows you to do very quickly is change those programs at a actual neurological level. You change the way your brain is firing over seconds and in minutes so that you're creating new programs. You can kind of think about like a computer. You can install new neurological code so you get different output, because input then equates to the output. And if you change the input in the form of these subconscious algorithms, if you will, you automatically get new output that's aligned with the goals that you want, as long as you've programmed your mind with the program's thoughts, beliefs, and emotional programs that are aligned with those goals. Now, back to hypnosis. Hypnosis leverages neuroplasticity. Neuro is your brain and your nervous system. Plasticity, meaning it's like plastic. It's malleable. It can reorganize itself. And we all have this ability. This is how we learn, especially when we're little kids. What hypnosis allows you to do is get into the proper altered state of consciousness to enhance neuroplasticity, which just means hypnosis allows you to learn new things faster. So you can learn new beliefs. You can unlearn old beliefs. You can unlearn fear. You can learn new habits. And you can do this, like I said, in seconds and minutes rather than days, months, weeks, and years. And that's really the moral of the story here, is not only do you have control, but you can change much faster than you could possibly imagine. And you can do it right now. How do you actually hypnotize yourself? Well, that's the cool thing, is we all experience hypnosis every single day. If you've ever been driving from point A to point B and you forgot how you got there, you've experienced hypnosis. You ever cried during a movie even though you knew it was a movie and it was fake? You've experienced an altered state that we classify as hypnosis. Got lost in a good book. You've experienced hypnosis. You've daydreamed. You've experienced hypnosis. And I say that because it's a very normal, natural state of mind that we can actually measure neurologically. Now, why is this important? It's because everybody can be hypnotized, even you. And you can choose to go in hypnosis very quickly, because all hypnosis is a heightened state of internal focus and an increase in neurological relaxation. So a very simple, like probably 3-step process to getting into an altered state of consciousness that we might label as hypnosis is to simply consciously decide to relax your body. Because we know that as the body relaxes, it's all connected to the nervous system, it's connected to your mind, your brain. As the body relaxes, the mind will relax. And when you get into that altered state of mental relaxation, now you're beginning to activate and interact with that subconscious part of the brain. The subconscious part of the brain is the limbic system. It's the older part of the brain, some people refer to as the reptilian brain. You also have your conscious mind, which is seated in the front part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex. When you're in this state of mental relaxation, you're actually deactivating the prefrontal cortex, the conscious mind to some extent. And so now you can easily access the subconscious part. And this is where all of your subconscious programs are housed, if you will. And so once you close your eyes for a few moments and you get into a nice state of physical relaxation to the best of your ability, you're already beginning to tap into that subconscious part of your brain. Now leveraging, certain imagery, certain emotional states, leveraging certain thought patterns, all these different kind of hypnotic processes and mechanisms that we use in the form of what you might call neuro-linguistic programming. All of that is designed to manipulate your thought patterns and your emotional state in real time while you're in that state of mind and create that change at a real brain-based level. And to make it even simpler for you, you don't even need to consciously choose to go into hypnosis and do this work, because we all go into and out of hypnosis every single day, like I said before, but we also do it specifically right before we fall asleep at nighttime and right when we wake up in the morning. And now I'm going to give you a little insider tip here, something that I created and put inside one of my courses. It's called the Snooze Protocol. The snooze protocol is something that I personally use to leverage that neurological state that we label as hypnosis to create very powerful and quick change every single morning. Here's what it is. Because I know that the neurological state of hypnosis is something we go into as soon as we're consciously aware that we're awake in the morning, I leverage that time to visualize my day and to visualize my goals and do some of these hypnotic practices in those first few seconds when my alarm goes off. What ends up happening is I press my snooze button, I go back to sleep, and I ultimately wake back up when my alarm goes back off, and I do the whole thing over again. I usually do this about 2 or 3 times. So the alarm goes off. I know I'm kind of in that in-between state consciously. I start visualizing my day, how I want it to go. I visualize my goals. I feel it. I step into all of my senses, and I do a few repetitions of that over the course of maybe 20 to 30 seconds before I fall back asleep. Once again, the alarm goes back off and I do it all over again. This is called the snooze protocol, and you're leveraging a very powerful moment in your day to create real neurological change quickly. And you'll find that you just start doing the things you tell yourself to do. You'll start being more motivated. You'll feel that energy actually increase throughout the day because you've already lived it in your mind. Now, you don't believe me, you don't have to, because it's like gravity. It just works. I promise you that as you try this, you're going to actually experience real results throughout your day, throughout your week, and throughout your life. Now, the neuroscience behind all of this actually shows that when you mentally rehearse something just one time, you're 700% more likely to do it. So that's powerful all on its own, just kind of visualizing something or thinking about your goal or thinking about the action that you want to take. Combine that with this snooze protocol or with the state of hypnosis, now you're 100 times more likely to actually take that action. And this is where the rubber meets the road. This is why people who are at the top 1% of what they do are at the top 1%, is because they know it's not just a skill set, right? It's not just their talent. It's not just more information. It's about their mindset. And now if you're wondering, Anthony, is there any other way that I can leverage these processes and reprogram my subconscious mind? Yes, I've actually created my very own hypnosis app. It's called MINDMOD. It's got all my exclusive hypnosis audios, from weight loss to sleeping better to anxiety relief to increasing your confidence. It's all on there, and you can get a free 7-day trial when you download it today. I also have courses that you can check out on my website or at the links below. But all the time, I always put out all this content for free right here on my page, on my social media platform. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out the next one.